Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 387 of the Hoots Podcast, coming to you live from the Break Free Room here in Chicago, Illinois. It's yours truly, the nefarious brother Adam, aka Joshie Lopez, here on this Thursday evening, November 16th. There's been a lot of memes that's been spewed around the last couple days on social media, pointing out that Thanksgiving is next week, and it's like, if we haven't had the feeling or the drift at this point that even God is sick of 2023. I don't know what else to tell you. It's like this month in general is like a pimple on the ass of this year. Just ready to get over with. We're just flying by and we're keeping it moving. As I like to say sometimes, how you do it, keep it moving. Um, how's it going, everybody? Hope you had a wonderful week. Another week of wrestling to discuss here on the podcast as we're on the road to episode 400 of the Hoots Podcast, which will be dropping in early 2024. I appreciate the support for the podcast since day one, especially for our longtime listeners and viewers, and especially those who've been checking out the show more recently. As you guys can see on the screen, pretty simple ordeal. If you want to follow me on Twitter, aka X, you can find me there at the Hoots Podcast. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel on YouTube if you are watching this live on YouTube. We're very close to getting 500 subscribers on YouTube, so any way that could help benefit the show, it would mean a lot to us. And the show comes to you free of charge every single Thursday, anywhere you get your podcasts from. In a pulpitude of different platforms. We got Spotify, what? YouTube, what? Amazon Music or Amazon Podcast, what? Odyssey app, what? A lot of places. Just type in the Hoots Podcast and it comes to you free of charge. And I appreciate your support, everybody. A lot of stuff to discuss, man. We got a pay-per-view coming up this Saturday in Inglewood, California, as AEW presents Mid-Gear. I'll be making my predictions very soon for that event coming up soon, as we've been starting off the shows over the last couple weeks with what the hell is wrong with AEW. Been flipping the script on the format and everything. So we'll get into that very soon. And again, if you guys have any questions, still got time to send in questions, as our main event segment this week will be the Backboard Q&A session. And I appreciate the support as always. Don't forget, coming up next weekend as well, we have Survivor Series at the Rosemont Horizon. Really, really bummed out that I won't be able to go attend this event. I think this show at the Allstate Arena is going to be very special, and it's going to be a real bummer not to be able to attend this show. But work calls, man. I'm just very happy and grateful that I got my job back, and that's what means the most to me right now. And I just want to say again that I'm grateful to be back doing what I do best, which is my transcripts, and we're still having fun with this show, man. Whatever happens after 400, I'll keep that to myself and see where things go from there. But I'm just really trying my best right now just to be present and live in the moment and enjoy what I have left with this show, and just make it fun and entertaining for you guys, which has always been the goal since day one. And make this place be like a positive escape for you, know. We got a great thing in this life called professional wrestling. A lot of times we take it for granted for the most ancillary nonsense out there, and it's unfortunate to see, and it takes away the fun in the part of being a content creator. It's part of one of the main reasons why I'm at the point where I am right now, where I am considering ending this, because I just don't want to be mixing in a much cloud of rudderless content and on-air distribution of conversations, wrestling shows that have no context and substance to it. You guys know who the good ones are. You know who to listen to. Their track record speaks for itself. I don't have to mention it here. But there's just so much of repetitiveness and just a lack of authenticity, if I could say that correctly. If you get what I'm trying to say, there's a lack of genuinism in the world of professional wrestling podcasting, and even for a grizzled young vet like I am, and being in this field for almost a decade, I can sniff it out a mile away. we're going to agree or disagree sometimes with our thoughts in wrestling. And I openly admit my experience of making transcripts and play-by-play articles has changed my outlook on the industry. And that, it's very interesting. I forgot which wrestler it was, but they mentioned it the other day. Oh, it was Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was on the bump this week, and I thought what he said was very eye opening and kind of hits home to what I've been kind of expressing on this show since day one, where I don't think you really truly grasp what professional wrestling is and what professional wrestling could be if you're living and dying by the week television shows. That's not to say that you can't have a critical eye. That's not to say that you can't want better out of promotions. I more than anybody want that for everybody in the wrestling space. It's part of the main reasons why I'm as critical on AEW than more people, as opposed to people in my field who want to kiss their ass and say they do absolutely nothing wrong. I'm more as critical on AEW because I want to succeed more than anybody. And what's really frustrating about AEW is the fact that I'm just supposed to sit back and just act like everything is okay because it's a new company that has nothing to do with WWE. When I've been told for 20 years since WCW went away that, oh, hey, new companies we're going to get some real competition. If that makes me jaded, where I still haven't been sold or convinced in the 4 years of AEW that they're a legitimate threat to WWE, if that makes me jaded or whatever, it is what it is. I need to see with my eyes. I could have Dave Meltzer and Alvarez and your mother's ass and your sister's glory hole tell me how great AEW is and WWE should be scared and all this stuff. You know how I will tell if that's the case? My sources, my left and my right eye. And that's just what it is. I want it to be good, but more times than not, as we'll be getting into as we start previewing this pay-per-view in a couple minutes, they just get in their own way, man. I want it to be good, but I'm not going to put a blind eye to what we're seeing. I'm not seeing anything authentic. I'm not seeing anything genuine. I'm not seeing anything that's groundbreaking. I the way the show's presented visually, the way the show's formatted, the concepts, the way people are presented higher above than other performers, I seen it all. And I again, going back to the original point here, like I see nothing that's unique or I could like hang my hat on. Okay, that's AW, and that's why I should be an AW fan. And I need to be convinced because I've seen for countless years. Oh, this new promotion is getting high, it's getting momentum, and then they get in their own way, and then they don't live up to what they could have been. TNA, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground. The list goes on and on. I love pro wrestling, man. A lot of time in my career of being doing play by play articles and stuff like that had to do with stuff that hasn't been doing with WWE. A lot of the times, especially the last couple years before I dealt with my furlough situation, I would spend at least 65% of the shows I was covering were stuff that was outside of WWE, mainly New Japan and the ancillary AEW shows and Impact and sprinkle in the NWA and MLW. I love the industry, man. I hope people who have watched and listened to this podcast for the last 8 years know that my intentions and how I go about talking about the industry is not rooted in just one company's favor. I hope people would understand that. I could come on here and dog crap all over WWE an entire show, but you get that already from 99.9 of the other wrestling podcasts out there. Is there stuff that goes on over there that I don't like? Yeah, but it's not as glaring to the fact that it's affecting their business. A lot of the stuff that you see people complain about WWE is all down to subjective taste in how they like the wrestling. And again, that's their prerogative. But you watch AEW and how they carry themselves and how shit gets leaked out to the dirt sheets with backstage drama and everything in between. It's hard for me to invest into it because half the time the people behind the scenes have no sense of control or self-respect, and you have too many egos in the same room making primary decisions. And it's, you can even see it throughout the television show. I don't have to be backstage to sniff out the fact that Chris Jericho flexes his veteran status and his political power. I'm not. I guess I can't begrudge the guy. Chris Jericho is one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, and I was a Chris Jericho fan, a big Chris Jericho fan for many, many years. But just being honest here, even with his experience, he drags that company down. The feuds that he's in are a waste of time. The way his angles go on and on and on with no purpose, it's just not good TV. And I've been saying it for years. Chris Jericho needs an extended break from television. He really does. He just needs an extended break from TV because it's not working. You could justify him teaming up with the flavor of the month every other month or after every pay-per-view. But where's the return on investment for Chris Jericho? Again, I don't have to be behind the scenes to see that Tony Khan can give two shits about women's wrestling. You can have women's wrestling matches and try to have extended women's matches on TV every single week. That doesn't mean that there's an emphasis and a general care or want for that division to succeed. And it's not a recent issue. It's been going since day one. I could regurgitate the stuff that we mentioned here on the show before about the officiating, the lack of common sense in matches where it looks like a clusterfuck and it's all over the place. It looks like a zoo some of the times with these tag team matches. I could regurgitate everything I've mentioned in what the hell is wrong with AEW since we started the show. But again, you can see for yourself. I don't have this agenda that I want AEW to fail. Hell, I got an AEW kind of gym-esque bag over here on the side of my recording room. I've been to multiple AEW shows. I wanted to succeed more than anybody. But the point I'm trying to express here is that even with that, even if for the times I've been critical towards AEW, I still wanted to be good. I spent money out of my pocket to cover pay-per-views like I did for Wrestle Dream. I paid $50 to cover that show and that pay-per-view. I want AEW to be as good for the wrestling industry as anybody. But I'm just not going to sit here and kiss Tony Khan's ass because he's a 20 plus year subscriber to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Guys, you know this podcast. I have no respect for the Wrestling Observer, nor will I ever will have respect for the Wrestling Observer. So, and then it just comes again with all the stuff with the toxicity and the tribalism and all the nonsense out there. And the main corporate that prevents me from being like super giddy and super excited for AEW all the time is Tony Khan. Your organizations are always a reflection of the people who are at the top and who are responsible for it. And the CM Punk issue, the constant fights, the lack of evolution and growth and return on investment and sustainability through all different metrics throughout that company, that lies at his hands. And I want it to be good, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of good matches coming up on this pay-per-view on Saturday for Full Gear. But again, Am I the only one here that's willing to point out that we're in this rudderless ship of a company that can't decide one moment whether they're a knockoff of TNA in 2010 or WCW in the early 2000s? Honestly, I think it's an insult at times when people try to compare the current AEW product or the last couple of years of AEW to what WCW was in Nitro, where they started having that lead ahead over the WWF. I think that's insulting to the people that were on that roster. And it's also an insult to Eric Bischoff because Tony Khan makes Eric Bischoff look like Bill Gates. Tony Khan talks. Eric Bischoff actually had some balls and had the temerity to go through with his actions. You may not agree with every decision he made, but here's the difference. TK talks a big game and hides behind the dirt sheets. Eric Bischoff talks a big game and follows through with his actions. Is he successful all the time? No, but he had the balls to go through what was coming out of his mouth. And that's the thing with life too. You can talk the biggest game on earth. You can act like your shit don't stink. But are you actually gonna do something about it or just talk about it and not deliver? And that's the difference. So when I see people compare AEW to Nitro, and then they bring up, oh my God, we're gonna have legitimate competition like it was with the Monday Night Wars. Anytime the next former WWE superstar joins the promotion, like it'll happen this Saturday. I've seen the story here. I've seen the pattern. What's there for me to get excited about? What's there for me to hang my head on and be like, okay, now's the moment. Now I know this promotion that I could back, and it's gonna be here for more than 10 years, and that's not gonna be drama. And this is a promotion that's gonna be a real player in the industry. Yes, I know Tony Khan has all the money in the world. He can bring in anybody he wants at any time. But what do you do with that talent when you come in? With the exception of John Moxley and FTR, who on that roster is in a better position right now than they were in WWE? And don't tell me the House of Black because that's just bullshit. I like the group. I love House of Black. I'm a big Malachi Black fan. I love Brody King. Julia Hart is becoming one of my favorite female performers in AEW. I've always thought Buddy Matthews was underrated. But look at how they're presented. Miro. Got to wait 2.5 years to get this guy back on TV, and now he's in a semi interesting thing with his wife now, being a TV agent where she's signing clients to go against him and play mind games with him. I already saw that with him in Lana in WWE. It's a different twist now to it, but you see my point here. There's no growth. You have original talents like MJF, who I've always said MJF is not an AEW success. MJF is an MJF success. That man is a generational talent, and he's successful in spite of AEW. And I could say the same thing about FTR if I wanted to be petty about it, but watch the show. I'm not saying that there's not good stuff on this promotion. I'm not saying that everything that they do is wrong, but when people ask me like, "Hey, Josh, why are you so as hard as you are on AEW and stuff like that?" It's like I'm the only one that seems to have my fucking eyes open when I'm watching this show and seeing how things are growing. And yes, it's a young company and every excuse on the book, but there's no growth from anything I see from this promotion. And again, as I've said since day one, what is the identity of this promotion? I still haven't found the answers to that, and this company is about to turn 5 years old in a couple of months. So, outside of it feeling like a dirt cheap vanity project, anybody tell me with a straight face what is the purpose of AEW and what the identity of is. So you could bring in Edge, you can bring in Sasha Banks, you can bring in Dolph Ziggler, you can bring in whoever you want, but we're still seeing the same show, drawing the same numbers. The houses that we see and the crowds that they draw speak for themselves. I don't need to get into that. There's no growth. So we could all put a blind eye. We could put the blinders out, or we could hold the company that claims to present elite style wrestling to a higher standard. So if this was the promotion that had the thesis statement that we're going to bring a legitimate fight and threat to WWE, it's going to take a whole hell lot more than a dirt sheet vanity project and knockoff iterations of TNA to convince me that this is a legitimate threat. So whoever signs with AEW and shows up in at the forum on Saturday, or whoever is behind the devil mask, nothing is going to change until Tony Khan wakes the fuck up and stop listening to dirt sheets. And that's what I have to say about that. I've been having a lot of different thoughts over the last couple of months and stuff, and kind of reflect on my journey personally since I moved out in the beginning part of 2021, and I was at my first apartment, and having that time to heal from the whole Lawrence stuff, and taking this time to heal and work on myself. And one of the great things I've been very appreciative when it comes to this podcast is the fact that I could come on here and this is a great mental escape for me. I could just talk. I don't really have a lot of opportunities to just talk and say how I really want it, how I really feel about things at times. I mean, I say it to myself, but I'm not having conversations openly to myself. That'd just be weird. But we all sometimes live in our thoughts, right? And a lot of us at times are in our head. I've always said, and I own up to it. It's not something that I'm proud of, but it's true. I always have admitted that self-doubt has been my biggest flaw for me. And I own that fact. And I know that fact because there's nothing critically or negatively or spitefully or anything bad anybody ever wants to feel or say about me or think about me that I haven't said to myself. And at the end of the day, I can only live within what's inside of me. I'm in my own shoes. You're not in my shoes. And I feel like, for the first time in my life that I'm just owning who I am now. And I'm not apologizing for it anymore. There's been a lot of these conversations over the years about nice guys finishing last and people don't have respect for nice guys and stuff like that. And, you could attach labels to it. You could do whatever the fuck you want. I know that I'm a good man. And if that's not appealing enough for somebody, that's their problem. That's not my problem. If having self awareness and self respect is a problem, if that makes me a nice guy, then that's a reflection on them. That's not a reflection on me. So we could attach labels. We could do this whole song, dog and pony dance about, oh, hey, nice guys finish last. Maybe they do. Maybe I finished last in this story. I know that's not true because I know how I'm wired and I know that things will turn. What I'm trying to say here is that, for those who are on the other side of their healing process and coming out of that process and having a new understanding of themselves and finding that time to work on themselves and start loving themselves again, a lot of this process is not pretty. And, having these conversations is not easy for me. I'm being really vulnerable with you guys right now. This process could get very, very dark at times, especially when you deal with a situation that I dealt with or other things that I haven't really expressed on this show before because it's really nobody's business. But the point is, I'm not alone in saying that things have not been easy on this journey for me. And it's not just one situation in Oviedo, Florida. It's a span of a lot of different things that have been going on for a long time. And I'm in a position right now in my life where I have been reflecting on a lot of different things. And yes, it has to do with the fact that I'm turning 30 next year. And, when I've heard the conversation about nice guys finishing last and everything, look, I can't worry or put myself in a place to constantly think about what my reputation is, what my perspective is about how other people see me. You know, not that I don't care. I do care about people. I care about my family members. I care about my friends who've been there for me and actually show up for me. I do care about people. And I love the people who've always had my back and see the best in me and see the potential in me. But there's also another part of me that thrives on proving people wrong, you know? And there's a part of me that thrives not fully in spite. I'm not I'm not a wayward person where I'm spiteful in a negative sense, in a negative context. But I've been doubted. I've been rejected. I've been told no multiple times by both ESPN 1000 and the score. And here I am, not breaking, not giving up on myself. You know, I'm not giving up on me. I have a lot of things that I wanted to really, I really wanted to accomplish when I got into this broadcasting field. And what I really told myself from day one is that I wanted to bring out the best version of me through this process because for really the first half of my life, I was so focused on playing music and playing my guitar and thinking, hey, I go to this big time school and that'll just get me going to where I wanted to go. I always knew that I wanted to be something big, be on a big platform, whether it was calling wrestling matches or do something in wrestling or play guitar or be a studio musician, whatever it is, I always knew I wanted to do something big. And I knew that within myself because I know the talents that I have and I know the drive and the ambition that I have. And I know that I'm fucking good at what I do. And it goes back to when I was a kid, dealing with bullying in elementary school, having snide comments from people about my interest in wrestling. You know, there's a great meme I saw the other day where they had hey, why are you losers still watching professional wrestling? And they had like a picture of the Step Brothers, and they're like, because fuck you, that's why. And I couldn't agree with that more. Like, I hold no shame over the fact that pro wrestling has been a major part of my life and something that I love very, very deeply. And it's why I get upset at times as I do about people taking it for granted for the stupidest things on earth and having the silliest debates that have no context and substance to it. And maybe that's just my burden that I have to deal with, and understanding that people at times don't have self awareness and don't know what they're saying half the time. They don't think before they talk and stuff like that. That's the burden that we all deal with human beings, right? There's stuff that I don't have respect for. Same thing, vice versa, for other situations, for other people, that they don't have respect for how people carry themselves in this manner and that manner. And for me, growing up and having people tell me no, and question why I wanted to be in wrestling or have any doubts of on any circumstantial level, you know, did it affect me at times to a certain extent? Sure. Maybe more from a self confidence point of view of opening myself up to people and letting people in, because more times than I've been burned than I've been in a position where I could trust and fully give whatever Joshua Adam Lopez is. There's my government name, right? Joshua Adam Lopez. And being real honest here with you guys, there's been so many times throughout my life where I really wasn't sure at times if I'm fully confident in what I am and who I am, because you deal with how life goes for you and the situations that you have to adapt and like maneuver around and the lessons in that time. And really, I don't think it's not really requirement for somebody to know who they truly are by the time they're 18 or even 21 or even turning 30 next year. I've been really working on myself a lot for the last couple of years, especially these past 6 months with all the workout stuff that I've been doing and the changes I've been making to my life and starting to learn how to cook and a lot of different things. And, more importantly, also working on how I um, trying to be more like emotionally strong and, just not being callous in a way, but just being numb to stuff that's out of my control. And again, we're all here for a purpose. We all have our days where we're going to be gone. What I can control is how I go about my stuff. But at the end of the day, it's the man upstairs that's guided me through it. So, again, all I can do is be the best version of myself. If people think that I'm a nice guy and that's the reason why they want to hold back or say no to me, that's their prerogative. I'm not going to attach a label to what I am. I know the man that I am. I know that I care about people. I know that I believe in what I say and I follow through with my words and I live by my word. And and I have faith not only with God, but faith within myself. And that's powerful too. Because there's a lot of people that just go out through their life expecting handouts and expecting things to be handed to them, and people feel sorry for them, and people that want attention and be clout chasers, stuff like that. Dude, man, at the end of the day, I'm just very grateful for the fact that I could come on here, I could talk to you guys, and you guys can accept me for who I am. Whether we agree or disagree with whatever I have to say here on the podcast about wrestling, all this stuff at the end of the day is subjective. But I'm just very cognizant of what I am right now. And just for the first time in my life, just not giving a shit what other people think. I just don't care anymore. The opinions that matter the most to me are the people that I trust and actually come through with me with actions. The rest is just empty noise for me. And I'm just very happy for the fact that I've been able to work on myself. And these times where like I go, not every week, but every other week, I'll go downtown and walk around the downtown area in different parts. And it's not just there to get steps in. Really, a lot of these times, especially the last couple months, as I've been going downtown more frequently, I've been really working on figuring out what I am and what I'm proud of about myself, what I'm willing to accept, what I'm not willing to accept and tolerate. And three, maybe part of me is cutting that nice guy simp esque nature or trait inside me, if that's something that I have or that's something that people perceive me to have, shedding that and just not being cold or callous or anything, but like I'm going forward, I'm just gonna be direct. And I think I've always been direct to a certain extent and forward and attentive to what I want and just just being upfront with people and et cetera, et cetera. But, if, people want to talk about nice guys finishing last. I could really give a shit about labels at the end of the day. If you think I'm a nice guy or an asshole or whatever, that's your deal, man. I only answer to one person, and that's the man upstairs. And that's it. I mean, we can't always say that we only answer to ourselves because most of the time we're full of our own shit. I don't think people are willing to be accountable to admit at times when we're full of our own shit, where we have our thoughts and perspectives about things and are not willing to actually work on yourself and be cognizant of the things that you're doing that are affecting other people. Again, I'm not motivated by other people. I don't make my moves based on people's perception on me. I could give myself to people and give the sweet and genuine and nice Joshie. But again, you're gonna have people that talk shit behind your back too, and even people that you trust are gonna talk crap about you. Now, I don't know if people are, nor do I care, but I'm not stupid either. People are gonna talk. People are gonna have their opinions on you, and that's great. I got my opinions too. I just don't need to express it. If I'm with you, I'll show you. If not, I won't. It's pretty simple. So when I look at my journey, especially the last couple of years, I'm very proud of the things I've been able to showcase to people where a lot of growth and maturity has come a lot of the way, and that I'm responsible, and more importantly, I'm a fucking man and I'm not a boy, in that I'm not seeking attention from people for validation, and I'm letting my work speak for myself. And I'm appreciative for those who've come through for me and been there for me so I can vent and get advice from the people that I care and love from. But as I've been on this journey of finding myself and working on myself and understanding what came out of that whole situation with Lauren, is that I'm not tolerating disrespect anymore. I'm not tolerating being used as a second option. I'm not tolerating that shit. I'm just not. I know that guys like me and men like me are a rare commodity in this little society that we're in right now in 2023. And if you can't recognize that I'm an actual man that follows through with my actions and words, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. There's this poem that I saw earlier today on TikTok that I thought was very, very interesting. And it really hit home with me about how I felt about this whole healing process and everything when it comes to the relationships that I've had in my life, like personal relationships and romantic relationships, especially. I wanted to share this for you guys before we get into the show. I want to play it for you guys. Hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think.
Was your canvas, and you were the painter, and together we made art. I loved the way you looked at me with such hope, like I had potential to be something great. But I did not know that you were an expressionist. You saw my pureness as an opportune moment to let loose your demons. I became a place where you spilled your blood reds and your blues from your past lovers. When we first met, I said I would love all of your shades. But I've never seen you when you were bright. You only came to me when you needed healing. And when you come, I would use my bed as an easel. You perform all shades of grey. My room was a gallery where you displayed your pain. It was that day when I came to your place and I saw paint on the floor that you have never used on me before. I knew it was not your only canvas. Now I am in the shower. Now I am in the shower, trying to wash you away, scrubbing your magentas beneath my feet. Your maroons are stuck between my nails. My new lover won't understand why I am this blue.
Nothing else needs to be said. And not a second option. And I'm sure it's telling somebody that you're going to use. So that's what it's at. All right, guys, it's time to get to what everybody's been waiting for. One of our favorite segments that we do here on the podcast at Hoots each and every single week. It's another brand spanking new edition of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. Let's start this bad boy off in a 3, a 2, a 1.
Your meat, beat, 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 your meat.
I'm telling you, my time is right now. Right this minute, 2022. We're living in my time is now. My time is right goddamn now.
Man, what intensity.
The quality of the product and the quality of the shows is at an all-time high right now. But I do know that it's a real war between AEW and WWE.
I'm still cashing fat checks, and I am still banging the hottest bitch in this entire place.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW?
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to What the Hell is Wrong with AEW this week. You know what? Let's keep the graphic here on the screen this time for this segment. For those who are listening right now, I am also recording this with video. We're going to keep this on the video version with just the graphic on so we can have some fun here. Okay. What the hell is wrong with AEW this week? AKA, what isn't wrong with AEW? I want to say really quick that, I think it's interesting that they are going out of their way to have these events at these bigger-esque stadiums, and sometimes they have decent houses and other times they don't. But as you watch the show, especially like Dynamite and Collision every week, at what point do the Warner Brothers Discovery executives wake up and realize that what we're getting on our network on TBS is not worth the money that we give away in the contract that's going on right now? Is there a good chance that AEW gets picked up again by Warner Discovery? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know where things stand. I don't know whether they're happy, upset, indifferent, recluse to the situation going on in AEW. I don't know if I know there was something out there where people are like, oh yeah, AEW is going to get a max contract for their TV rights deals, and it's going to be something like $1 billion or something like that. And I saw that comment, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. I'm not saying that they won't get a good deal if they were to get a second run on the Warner networks with their next TV contract, but anybody with an open eye can tell you that this promotion is just a rudderless ship of nonsense. I'm watching this show last night, and there's good stuff. You had the Hangman Page, Swerve Strickland segment where, Hangman Page just goes extra rogue on Swerve on the microphone. He's calling him a dumbass. He mentions that he got fired. He's basically calling out Swerve for being a phony and a clout chaser. And it's the reason why his fiance left him and the kids don't want to talk to him. Whether all that's true or not, I don't know, nor do I care, because I'm not going to give my takes on other wrestlers' personal lives. That's just not any of my concern or my business, and I don't know why people on podcasts try to give their takes on it. I just think that's strange. But I like the passion and the energy in that segment. And I've been critical at times about Swerve Strickland, but I think he's been putting in a lot of good work recently. And this feud with Heyman Page is doing him a lot of favors in a lot of good ways, you know. And I'm pretty sure that their match coming up on Saturday will be just as good or even better than it was at Wrestle Dream. Now, especially after that promo, you just got that vibe, you know. It's kind of like the point where, you know, you're watching the Edge feud with the Judgment Day, and, you know, you remember Judgment Day gave Beth Phoenix the concerto at Extreme Rules, and that moment's like, okay, it's on site. If I see you pumping gas, I'm whooping your ass. If I see you at a funeral, I'm gonna come in and send my condolences, and then I'm gonna give you the beats. It's on site. That's the vibe I got from this match, and you know, I think they overdo it with these hardcore outlaw mud show gimmick matches on pay-per-views at times. But this is one of the few ones that I think is worth having a no DQ stipulation attached to it. So I want to give credit where credit's due, because I know I've been critical at times as far as Strickland, and do I think he's going to be the next face of AEW? I don't think so. But I enjoy his work, and he's been putting on some good work. And honestly, this is the best stuff we've been seeing from Hangman Page since his feud with CM Punk. Ooh. Oh, can't say CM Punk about AEW, or conspiracy theories are going to pop out, right? Adam! Adam! I don't know about you guys. Are you guys done with the whole Adam stuff? It's like, I get it from a comedy point of view that Roderick Strong and the Kingdom are, you know, using Adam Cole, and whether or not this turns around and Adam Cole's the actual devil or not, we'll have to see. But again, it's like, I don't know if they're leaning into the fact that, yeah, Roderick Strong's a good wrestler, but people can't take him seriously. And that's why people are ignoring what he says. And it's like, nobody gives a shit about what Matt Taven or Mike Bennett has to say. Like both guys, good wrestlers. I think they're good at what they do. But you look at their shtick and the whole Adam, it's just there. So I know that him and the Kingdom have been more of like the wedge in between this bromance between MJF and Adam Cole. Something's got to give coming up on Saturday, because, you know, MJF, again, has to have 2 matches on the pay-per-view. Man, we got to have MJF on the 0 hour, ladies and gentlemen, the 0 hour. How long is this pay-per-view going to be on Saturday? 9 hours? My God. So, yeah, again, we're having Cole having conversations with Adam Cole through Zoom. I'm just ready for some progression with this angle, because I'm starting to just be indifferent to it. I want to give some credit to Sky Blue and Red Velvet. I gotta say, the line that Justin Roberts says, "Straight out of your mama's kitchen." That line pops. Yeah, I like that introduction. No, I want to give credit to the ladies. I thought they did a very, very good job. I thought it was a good match between Sky Blue and Red Velvet. It was nice to see Red Velvet back in action recently, especially coming back from an injury. So it's been nice to see her on television, and Sky Blue is getting better as the weeks go by. So it's cool to see another Chicago performer maximizing her TV time, and she's doing some good stuff. And now she'll be part of that triple threat match for the TBS Championship coming up on Saturday. So I just want to give some props to the ladies. But that was pretty much it, man. You know, yeah, MJF cut another decent promo at the end of the show, but it's like, I'm sound like a broken record at this point, but for me, for this to be considered a serious world title main event on a pay-per-view, where the whole storyline has been based on Bullet Club Gold or Bullet Club Mid, basically playing keep away like we're in a high school recess, an elementary school recess session. It's just lame and corny to me. So I know a lot of people have been excited because, oh my God, Bullet Club Gold are doing some great stuff, man. Yeah, rock hard, Juice Robinson. You got the Guns and you got Jay White, but it's just not good TV for me. Whether it's Collision or Dynamite, I just don't care about this feud. So that wasn't even the most egregious stuff that happened on Dynamite last night. We had this match that was brought to you by Sega, I guess. And look, I'm not going to be here and be a hypocrite. I know a lot of people go after WWE when they have these sponsored type matches. You had the Damian Priest Miz match that had to do with the zombies and stuff like that. And admittedly, that was not good. I totally admit that was not good. But you have all the elements of what the hell is wrong with AEW literally in that match last night. So it was, I even forgot what the name of the match was. It was like a Dragon something. I put it in the title, not the title, but I put it in the description of the podcast this week. It's like I'm a Jackass match. That's literally what it was. So you have the Don Fallis family against Kota Ibushi, The Big Show, and we got Olivier and the COVID God. Much to the surprise of absolutely nobody, Team Kenny Omega defeated Don Fallis. We had Big Show 1 second choke slamming Kyle Fletcher off the ramp through a table on the floor. Then a couple minutes later, Kyle Fletcher is doing a spot where he does a tombstone pile driver through tables, and Kota Ibushi just gets back on his feet like absolutely nothing. So we're not selling anything. We got Kota Ibushi earlier in the match with his stupid ass spot on the bicycle. This literally had the recipe of just pure and utter nonsense, just pure and utter outlaw macho bullshit. You got Aubrey Edwards as the referee. What could go wrong? We got Jericho. We got Takeshita. We got Olivier. We got oh man. This match was just way too fucking long. And here's the worst thing too. When you have a gimmick match like this that's just embarrassing to watch and it's not good, and knowing that this angle is not even close to being done, that's even worse. So you have a bad match on TV where nothing is progressing, nobody gets over, and it's just there. Like, I would even understand if this match was on the pay-per-view on Saturday. But we got to have this stupid-ass 8-man tag on the go-home show. Nobody gets over. And it's like, what the fuck are we watching? This match was terrible. But yeah, get excited, everybody. We got the Golden Jets against the Young Bucks. Yay! I'm sure that match is going to be 35 minutes. Hey, Tony, there's no way you're going to have a pay-per-view without me having a 35-minute match. Oh, man. So they have that stipulation, right? So if Kenny and Chris defeat the Bucks, they get the number one contender spot for the tag titles. And if the Bucks win, Jericho and Omega disband as a tag team. Does anybody care about this match coming up on Saturday? Be honest with me. Does anybody give 2 fifths of a fuck about this match coming up on Saturday? Oy. So, briefly, that's what happened on Dynamite last night. Let me do the Excrement impression, and then we'll get to the predictions for this show coming up on Saturday, shall we? Now, don't forget, tomorrow night, as we record this on a Thursday, we got Collision and Rampage live. So Collision will be competing against SmackDown, and Rampage will be live right after, right? Yeah, I think so. let me address this really quick too. I talked this week about Tony Khan on Twitter this week's like, oh, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we got one of the biggest stars in wrestling, virtually respected by all fans of AEW. They'll be coming to Full Gear to sign their contract. What's could be different about this signing from the 15 other signings that we've been seeing for the last 2 to 3 years? Okay. Ooh, Sasha Banks is here. Yay!
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Oh yeah, wait a minute. It's Goldberg.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Sasha Banks. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Goldberg. You can bring all the people you want in the world into this promotion. Nothing's changing. So, another string of useless announcements from Tony Khan. All right, let's do this impression. Let's put a ribbon on the bow on this segment. All right, here we go. Here we go. Coming to you live tomorrow night on TNT is a special edition of AEW Rampage. Check it out right now. We have Timeless Toni Storm taking on Emi Sakura ahead of her match with Hikaru Shida at Full Gear. Renee Paquette sits down with the champion and challenger, and Full Gear's main event is MJF and Jay White. And don't forget, we have a special edition of AEW Collision. Don't forget, we have Dex Harwood taking on Roosh. From there, we have Soraya and Ruby Soho taking on the team of Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida. And also, don't forget, coming up this Saturday, live from the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California, it's AEW presents Full Gear. Here's the matches on the card. On the 0 hour, we have for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, it's MJF taking on the Guns. And into the main card for the AEW Women's World Championship, it's Hikaru Shida taking on Timeless Toni Storm. From there, it's a grudge match. It's a trios match featuring Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland. Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne are the opponents. From there, we have Orange Cassidy taking on Jon Moxley for the AEW International Championship. The Texas Death Match features Hangman Adam Page against Swerve Strickland. Then we got the grudge match. The Golden Jets against the Young Bucks. If the Golden Jets win, the Young Bucks lose their AEW World Tag Team title opportunity. If the Bucks win, the Golden Jets must disband. The triple threat match for the AEW TBS Championship is Chris Statlander taking on Julia Hart and Sky Blue. And it's a fatal four-way match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. It's Ricky Starks and Big Bill taking on LFI against FTR and Kings of the Black Throne. And our main event for the AEW World Championship, it's the champion MJF taking on the Switchblade, Jay White. Get all the information right now at allareatewrestling.com. Get more matches announced for the 0 hour. Make sure to follow Tony Khan on Twitter at Tony Khan. And get all your tickets right now at AWTIX.com. That's AWTIX.com. All right. Here's my predictions for Full Gear. I believe the Guns will get the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles from MJF. I have Toni Storm defeating Hikaru Shida. Some way, somehow, I think Adam Copeland, Sting, and Darby Allin will defeat Christian Cage and the Cronies. Got Pockets defeating Jon Moxley. I got Hangman Page defeating Swerve Strickland. I got the Bucks beating the Golden Jets with shenanigans. I got Julia Hart becoming your new TBS champion. I have FTR, actually, scratch that. I had the Kings of the Black Throne winning the AEW World Tag Team titles, much to the surprise of everybody. And the main event, I got MJF retaining over Jay White. And MJF will remain your AEW World Champion. As far as who the devil is, I have two picks. We all talk about the number of challengers that MJF has for his title, right? People just lining up, coming out of the woodwork for a title shot at this guy, right? So, with that being said, my two picks for the devil are Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Christian Cage. Heard it here first on the Hoots Podcast. On that note, we pose the question each and every single week. Let me know what's on your mind. What the hell's wrong with AEW?
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. Right, when we come back, we'll get into what happened this week in WWE and get into the CLAHN of the week. But interesting nominees this week for sure. And of course, the main event segment, the Back Porch Q&A session. But coming up next, we'll talk about what happened this week on Raw and SmackDown as the road to War Games continues. Right here on the Hoots Podcast. We'll be back in just a bit. All right, folks, welcome back to the Hoots Podcast here. Time to talk about what happened this week in WWE as we have some interesting comments this week coming from Cody Rhodes as he was the guest on Busted Open with Dave LaGreca, Mark Henry, and the beautiful and sexy Mickie James, the GOAT of female wrestlers. We're gonna get to that in just a couple of seconds, but don't forget. Well, I'll go over what happened on Raw and SmackDown, some takeaways from there, and talk about this card for Survivor Series. But I really wanted to start this first part of this week in WWE playing a snippet of the interview that Cody had on Busted Open this past Monday. I want to give credit to the guys on SiriusXM. And I thought it was some very interesting conversations for sure. And I thought it was very, very interesting. And I'll start here with comments here from Mark Henry, and then Cody takes over from there. So let's play a little bit of this interview with Busted Open. I think you guys are gonna like it. Some very interesting, nuanced conversations here, and I think it's gonna be very good. So here's Cody Rhodes on Busted Open this past Monday. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Heart of hearts, you believe that losing at WrestleMania was the best thing that ever happened, because we talked about the hard times and how you had to have your own version that was independent of like what your father did, that would put teeth on you, that would make you have a razor's edge. And that saga with Brock, it did that, man. Like you are undeniable. You talk about it being undesirable to undeniable. Like, you are completely undeniable in pro wrestling. You are I wouldn't go so far right now until you win at WrestleMania of saying that you are your father's equal. But you are Cody fucking Rhodes. And in the business of pro wrestling, to be an icon in a business that has had so many unbelievably great wrestlers, to have your name mentioned and know you're going to be a first round ballot Hall of Famer, like that's gotta feel good.
I want to run through like a brick wall here and you say that in terms of that'll light a fire, but I'm being honest in a sense that I don't know how to feel about WrestleMania 39 until I get where I'd like to get. And you know this more than anybody. It's a long road to get back.
Yeah.
It's a long road to I've been saying, you can catch me under my breath sometimes when I'm out there in the ring on Raw or at SummerSlam. I've been saying we're on our way. We're on our way. I even went as far as to say when other people think it might be somebody else, it's always been me. But the truth is, those are just words. WrestleMania season, Royal Rumble season, War Games ahead of us. That could be the hard times right there. That could be the most arduous path I've been on. So I have focused on it. I definitely appreciate your perspective from looking outside in on me. I focused on it show to show, and just kind of the Cena model of, are we improving every outing? Are they more into it every outing? And that's been my goal. But I very much appreciate you saying that. I have never ever heard Hall of Famer before, and that would just blow my mind. We got to get old Chicken in that Hall of Fame first, though. My brother, we got to get Chicken in there.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right? He's just out there still hitting the ropes where you can hear the ping. He's hitting them so hard and stuff. Yeah, you got to get him in there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Cody, I love that you're so humble and you're so kind. You've always been this way, but I think that what I admire most is that we all have like very high demands of ourselves, and you hold yourself at a high standard. And I think that you've had big shoes to fill in all of that. But I think that, like what just Mark said, to add to that, like you've been able to create your own story and your own legacy in this industry. And I'm certain that, like, from coming out from underneath your father's shadow to just being Cody Rhodes, who you are, and standing in the man you are today because of all of these things, but the betting on yourself and to taking a risk on yourself, and then the journey you're on now, coming back, what you wanted, like it was everything that you wanted and you fought for, and now you're standing in it, and it's so powerful and it's so glorious. And I hope that every day you get to say thank you for those moments, because I think that there's so many more now to come, because it's like a whole brand new chapter of this career. It's almost like it's all brand new again, and it must feel amazing. It really, really must feel amazing for you as a man, as your family legacy, but also just your own legacy. It's really awesome, and it's just cool to see friends winning. You know what I mean?
I very much, you mentioned something, you said it must feel new. It does. It feels new. And I always tell people, hey, I'm a slow learner. It took me a while to get to the spot I wanted to be. But when I think of a match, when somebody says Cody versus somebody, even if we had done that match 8 years ago, 10 years ago, it doesn't read the same way. It all reads brand new, because I had found my footing. And you said, he's always so nice and humble, and you guys are just making me feel great. I'm waiting for Dave to drop the hammer on some tough question here. But I'll say there was a period of time, and maybe it wasn't when I was in WWE when we were hanging out. There was a period of time where I feel like I lost my compass, and I was arrogant, and I was grizzled. You know how guys get grizzled long before they ever should be grizzled. I was all those things, and I was really angry. And a lot of that work is evident when you look at, what I did with New Japan and Ring of Honor and AEW. There was like an anger to me that I'm motivated differently now. It's not anger that motivates me. It's maybe having a daughter, and that's probably changed it. But it's different, and it's been better for me as motivation. It's been more positive. I really appreciate you saying that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the word angry because I guess, I've gotten angry. I was angry at WrestleMania 39. And listen, I'm not going to
That's
be
not
on this.
what you were. You were more than angry.
I was I was perturbed. And then I got to be honest with you, and I know this is a very unpopular opinion, but I was angry at The Rock as well with some of the comments he made about WrestleMania 39 and a possible appearance at WrestleMania 40, because to me, it's all about you at WrestleMania 40. I feel like the story is there, and that's what's so great about what you're doing, Cody. In the world of the WWE, there's always options. I mean, we've seen the emergence of LA Knight, but to me, it's still about you. And the reason why it's still about you, Cody, is because of the connection you have with the fans. And this is why I appreciate you as much as I do, you have made fans a fan for life. Those children that you see each and every Monday night and you give that weightlifting belt to, or even at live events, those are fans because of those moments. And because you're giving those fans your time, those are now fans that are going to be fans of the WWE for the rest of their lives. And they're going to make their children fans as well. And I feel that because of that connection, I'm very hopeful of what we're going to see at WrestleMania 40.
You mentioned being fans for life and making fans for life. I've been a fan for life, so I want them to join the parties. Some people's model is that they're really not seen as much. There's an aura, there's a mystique about them, and I've tried that, but for me, there's not really a character here. Maybe it's turned up, but I like spending the excess amount of time until Jason Jordan security pulls me to the back. I like the grassroots interaction because I feel like I wasn't thinking that so much early in my career. It almost felt like, oh, these fans will always be here. This is, WWE at the time, like they're always going to come, and then realizing that it's different now, and how important it can be to actually get to know your fans and be on their team and them be on your team. You mentioned The Rock. Nobody has asked me about The Rock because I think they're scared to ask me or don't want to be rude, or I'll say this about The Rock. And, coming out on Pat's show, which I was watching live because I love Pat, and then SmackDown and all this. The Rock did for sports entertainment so much and continues to do so much by being the biggest star in Hollywood that I'm able to be at the level I'm at because I can stand on shoulders like those of The Rock. So he could have come on there and run me down, and I still would have the highest respect for the great one. He's honestly a model superstar for anybody who wants to just supersede all expectations. With that said, though, no matter what he said, anyone who did ask me, anyone who did confront me on it, I said I'm not flinching. I'm not flinching. And I feel like if The Rock and I were in the same room, he would expect nothing less from me. If you think it's somebody else, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it's me. And that's the same attitude that The Rock had when he was climbing the ladder. I don't care who it is. And if that happens to be The Rock, if that happens to be anybody who comes into this fray, a wonderful superstar like LA Knight, an absolutely stellar performer like Sami Zayn, who him and I went toe to toe in a way last year. It doesn't line them up, and I'm just going to do everything I can to outrun them. I certainly am, and I mean that with the utmost respect to them. I wasn't shook at all by Rock's big day out, and I'm still, again, what I would say is not flinching. If Rock's part of WrestleMania 40, that would be outstanding. He should be. It's The Rock, but I don't think he'll be in my spot.
Love it. I love it.
All right. Highlights there from Cody Rhodes' interview on Busted Open. You can check out the podcast of Busted Open on their channel. Make sure to check out live daily editions of Busted Open on Sirius XM Fight Nation Channel 93. So what Cody just mentioned there about not flinching kind of harkens back to what I was mentioning earlier in the show about myself. I'm at a point in my life where I'm just not flinching, and I'm just going to be remain strong regardless of what comes next. And I thought what Cody said there is true, and it's the way you should go about it. If you feel that you're in the right position, and even if you still feel that you were done wrong at WrestleMania 39, I don't think so. I don't think Cody himself feels like he was done wrong. But if you feel like you're that dude and you are him and you are the face of the company, you need to have that confidence within you to be like, I'm not flinching. You know, people want to say that this guy or that other person deserves the opportunity. Yeah, a lot of people think that they deserve a lot of things. What people think they deserve and what is are two different things. And for Cody to say not flinching, I respect that. And it's something that I feel about myself in my line of work. I'm not flinching, you know. I know damn well that I dish out the best wrestling play-by-play articles in the industry. I know damn well that I deserve my flowers in this field. And 2024 is going to be a good year for your boy. So I just thought that was a very interesting interview, so I wanted to share that with you guys. I'm going to make this brief because I don't want this podcast to be too long this week, but some stuff here from SmackDown and Raw this week because there was a lot of heel turns this week. We had Santos turning on Ray. We found out Ray needed to have knee surgery. He's going to be out for 8 weeks, so we hope we're going to send some T's and P's out there to Rey Mysterio, and hopefully he comes back soon. But good timing on the turn for Santos Escobar. I thought that was done very well on SmackDown this past Friday. Asuka turns her back on Bianca and Charlotte to join Damage Control with Kyrie and Io and Dakota Kai. If you can't see what's going on here, Bayley's going to get the boot. She's going to be sent for Damage Control. So we had two heel turns on SmackDown. We had Kevin Owens, by the way, doing some stellar commentary, by the way, on SmackDown. I thought that was cool. A little funny moment in the back with Jimmy Uso where he's like, yeet. And then Roman immediately calls him and he's like, no, yeet. I thought that was tremendous. Okay, we had LA Knight. Yeah, against Grayson Waller. Pretty decent match. I thought it was pretty decent for the most part. LA Knight did defeat Grayson Waller with the BFT. Curious to see what's going to happen with LA Knight as we get closer to Survivor Series. Do we have him in a match? Does LA Knight become the fifth member for the War Games match? We still haven't really heard much about the Bloodline, whether their thoughts going on with that whole War Games situation. That can be something to be on the lookout for when it comes to tomorrow's show. So we'll have to be on the lookout for that. I know tomorrow's SmackDown's in Evansville, Indiana. Yeah, that's right, Evansville. So, yeah, man, I'm very excited for War Games. I think it's going to be a very, very cool show. The cards are looking good. We had Drew McIntyre finally make his turn to the dark side and embracing the Rhodes. We had Drew McIntyre. I don't know if he's an official member of the Judgment Day, but he helped the Judgment Day retain their tag titles in the main event against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Very, very good match. Drew McIntyre's turn was coming from a mile away. And what I really liked about this, for this turn for Drew, not only is he being consistent with the hate that he's had for Jey Uso and, the whole long-term booking thing, but it's like earlier in the show, he talks to Seth Rollins, right? He's like taking accountability, owning up to the fact that he lost and that the better man won that crown jewel. And that's kind of the thing with heel turns too. When you could accept what happened to you and still take matters in your own hands, That's very interesting. I thought that was very interesting. It's kind of similar in a way to how Anakin finally turned into Darth Vader. Now, Drew McIntyre did not get burnt into a crisp, even though I do love Revenge of the Sith. But follow along with me here. It's really something to have accountability for what happened to you, and then you still turn the same night. So you have the handshake there with Seth Rollins. He looks like he's this run of him being the world heavyweight champion. You can see it in his face and how he walks. You can tell there's an exhaustion there. And Seth Rollins, in more ways than not, is the heavyweight champion of the world. Roman's not defending the title. Seth is really the workhorse in the WWE. And I don't think he gets enough respect from this fan base. And I think it's embarrassing, to be honest with you. These are the same people that always clamor for him to be a champion. And then when he's a champion, people are just indifferent towards the guy. I just don't get it. But it always goes back to the fickle nature of this audience. This is bullshit. But you can tell Seth Rollins is exhausted. And he's been carrying the company on his back. Roman wants to have the Brock contract. Seth is putting the grunt work. So the whole layout with the Drew McIntyre turn, I thought was very, very good. Some other decent stuff there from Raw this Monday. I liked the match with Otis and Nakamura. I thought that was pretty good. We had Miz against Ivar. I talked about the Miz last week. People need to put respect on the guy's name. Just joking at the guy and acting like he's a piece of shit and unworthy to fight Gunther for the IC title. Watch Gunther and Miz be one of the best matches at Survivor Series next Saturday at the Rosemont Horizon. And see if we're still going to talk shit about Miz and his lack of in-ring skills. All right, keep talking your shit. Gotta put some respect on the guy's name, man. The guy's the first ballot Hall of Famer, and we still want to knock the guy because he's not wrestling like Will Ospreay or Mike Bailey. You don't have to do. You don't need to have a moveset of 80 moves to be considered a good wrestler. Put some respect on the man's name for the love of God. And that was pretty much it. I know Sammy and Steph had a tag match with Dominic and JD McDonough. JD's now officially part of the Judgment Day, so that was that. But that was pretty much it for stuff that stood out to me from Raw and SmackDown this week. I know we had NXT this past Tuesday. Trick Williams qualified for the men's Iron Survivor Challenge match. We had Lash Legend defeat Roxanne Perez. I did not agree with that decision. I know they want to make Metaphor into this superpower group and faction in NXT, but I don't know. It's just there for me. Don't get wrong. I love Noam Dar, but I thought they were making the referees look stupid in that match with Roxanne Perez. But it was for a bigger reason. She still has some unfinished business with Kiana James, so I understand why that happened. What else? Dijak had a confrontation with Braun Breaker. All for that. If they have a match with each other, I'm here for it. Sign me up. JBL will be making the picks for the next set of qualifying matches. I believe this Tuesday's NXT is already taped ahead of the holidays, I believe, right? So I don't know what's gonna happen next week. I'm not big on the spoilers and stuff, so go check out NXT. Pumping out some good stuff. And by the way, I want to give a big shout out to Wesley and Baron Corbin. I thought that was the pretty decent main event on NXT this past Tuesday. So that's what happened this week in WWE. Don't forget, next week we'll be making our predictions. For Survivor Series World Games at the Rosemont Horizon. All right, folks, it's time for another iteration segment that we do here on the podcast, the Hoots that we do each and every single week. One of my favorite parts of the show. where we get to crown a Nimrod of all Nimrods with a prestigious award, otherwise known as the CLAHN of the Week. Let's play this.
I'm not CLAHN. Constant CLAHN. You're big on CLAHN.
One more time.
I'm not CLAHN. Constant CLAHN. You're big on CLAHN.
All right. I got two winners of the CLAHN of three winners, actually, of the CLAHN of the Week award, and it all comes from the NBA. Man, I don't know what's becoming more uninteresting to me in 2023, baseball or basketball. Holy shit. It's not even just because my Bulls suck. Hell, Ray Charles knows that from the grave that the Bulls suck. But Draymond Green, Rudy Gobert, and Zach LaVine, you three Nimrods, collectively are the CLAHN of the Week. Draymond Green, man, why do you must consist in carry yourself in a Jackassian manner each and every single season? I know you got a podcast with Colin Kyle shit on the Volume Network, and I know you are about that life and you want to get in fights all the time, but you are a liability to your organization. Even with all the titles you won with the Warriors, you still carry yourself in a Jackassian manner. Get out! Not surprised he's still with the Warriors. I figured he would be up in LA kissing LeBron James' ass. CLAHN. Rudy Gobert. Just a CLAHN, just to be a CLAHN. I could lump in Karl Anthony Towns too because he's a shitty teammate and a CLAHN himself. CLAHN. Yeah. Karl Anthony Towns. CLAHN. Got all the stats in the world. You are the James Harden of big men in NBA. I hope you're proud of that, my man. Then Zach LaVine. Everybody and their mother knows that he wants to get traded out of the Bulls. And guess what? Great. Get the fuck out. And that's an AHT. Get out, CLAHN. Get out. If you don't want to be here. Thank you for your service. 6 years of nothing. Oh, we can give you the max contract. Not even 12 games in the season. Oh, hey, Rich Paul, can you get me out of Chicago? Can you get me out of here? Oh, I'm so upset over the fact that Billy Donovan benched me against the Magic last year. Get out, CLAHN! Oh, my God. And while you're at it, send freaking Art Carney and Mark Eversley out with them. Get the boxes. Get everything that comes with somebody that gets fired. And send them out of Chicago. And Michael Reinsdorf, I know your dad is useless at this point when it comes to running an organization. Have some freaking pride. Be good at your job or sell the team. We stinks. The franchise that had the greatest athlete in the history of sports right over there is a freaking clown show. We need a freaking fire sale at 1901 West Madison Street. This is bullshit. Pun intended. I was 4 years old the last time the Bulls were in the finals, let alone win an NBA championship. We were the freaking standard bearer of basketball for a decade. Now we're a freaking afterthought. Oh, we got Art Carney from the Denver Nuggets. CLAHN. Mark Eversley from the Raptors. CLAHN. Zach LaVine. CLAHN. DeMar DeRozan. CLAHN. Enough of the CLAHNs. We have enough shitty teams in Chicago. Man, what, am I going to be 50 years old the next time somebody from Chicago wins a freaking championship? My whole life. Oh, we got to rebuild here. We got to rebuild here. Listen to sports talk radio every day. Oh, it's the same thing. Oh, this coach needs to get fired. That GM needs to get fired. It's a rudderless ship of ineptitude. Zach LaVine, CLAHN. Reinsdorfs, CLAHN. The White Sox, CLAHN. The Bears, CLAHNs. Oh, hey, we got Craig Counsell. Look at us at the Cubs. Oh, we won't put the money out for Shohei Ohtani. CLAHNs. On that note, that is the clown of the week this week. Let's get to my picks for week 11 of the NFL season. Before I recorded this episode tonight, the Ravens are playing the Bengals. They're up 21-10. I did originally pick the Ravens on my ESPN Pick'em League, so I want to be correct with that, not cheat you guys. So I did pick the Ravens over the Bengals. All right, let's take the look at the rest of this slate coming up this week. Hopefully we get some better games this week than we did last week. I have the Steelers defeating the Browns. Oh, by the way, to the other clown, one of the Hall of Fame clowns out there, Deshaun Watson. Stay your ass home, you freaking creep. Oh, he has a shoulder injury. Oh, I wonder why. Clown. Steelers, I got the Steelers beating the Browns. I think it'd be a close game. I'm not impressed by Kenny Pickett at all, but I think the Steelers defense gets the victory there for Pittsburgh. I got the Lion over the Bear. I would love to see the Bears win, but I'm just going to go with the safe bet here and have the Lions beat them. I got the Broncos over the Vikings. Got to give some credit where credit's due. Sean Payton's doing a good job with the team. Some really big victories over the last couple weeks over some major teams. On Monday night, I have the Chiefs defeating the Eagles again in the Super Bowl rematch. I got the Seahawks over the Rams, Texans over the Cardinals, Chargers over the Packers in Green Bay. That should be a decent game, I guess. Jaguars mollywop the Titans, Bills over Jets. I got the Dolphins over the Raiders. Raiders always struggle in the East Coast. So, yeah, I got to go with the Dolphins there. Commanders over the Giants, Cowgirls over the Panthers, and then finally the 49ers over Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, we got the clown out of the week out of the way and the picks for week 11 of the NFL season. When we come back, we get to our main event segment this week, the Back Porch Q&A session right here on the Hoots Podcast. All right, one more segment to go here on the podcast at Hoots this week. I want, again, just give a big shout out to each and every single one of you for hanging out with me tonight and just enjoying the show and allowing me to come in here and shoot the shit with you guys. So I really appreciate it. We got one more segment to do, and it is the Back Porch Q&A session. As always, if you have any questions for the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Here you go. As we start off this week, as we usually do with the good brother Chris Saletta at XTeam Saletta24X on Twitter, the product of Rhode Island, New England, what? Boston, what? Hey, Chris, man, you need to make up your mind, man. Are you Massachusetts, New England, Rhode Island, all balled up into one, man? You need to let me know. I never got that concept of New England where they got fucking 5 states attached to each other. All jokes aside, let's see what Chris has us here for the questions this week. What up, Boost? Here's the question for the Q&A this week. This year's playoffs, who would you trust in a one playoff game, Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen? I'm going to go with Josh Allen just of history and track record. Lamar sucks in the playoffs, so I'm going to go with Josh Allen by default. Who do you think the last woman will be for the women's war game match? I'm going to go with Becky Lynch in that one. Good question, though. 5-on-5 or 4-on-4? Which do you prefer for War Games matches? That's a decent question. I really don't have a preference, Chris. I mean, we all know what a War Games match looks like at this point. So whether it's 5-on-5 or 4-on-4 is kind of the same thing, to be honest with you. So I really don't have a preference either way. But it's a good question. Who had the better rookie year, Kurt Angle or Brock Lesnar? That's a tough one. I'd probably say Kurt Angle. I just think for what he was able to accomplish, especially for his background and being so versatile in the success that he had in his first year, to where he's first showed up, he's getting booed from the crowd, then he turns into a top tier heel and winning a championship along the way. It has to be Kurt Angle. He's probably the best performer to have a first year in the business and then becoming a main eventer that way. I have to say it's Kurt Angle for sure. When do you think we get Cody versus Gunther 1-on-1? That's a good question. I would like to say maybe not in 2024. If it's something that you want to do as a SummerSlam match or a WrestleMania match down the road in 2025, maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how that goes with Cody and Gunther, because maybe they're separated in different brands. Maybe those are two guys who want to keep distant for a while. I know that we have the Bash in Berlin show coming up for Backlash next year in France, right before my birthday. But we'll have to see how that one plays out too. So I'm gonna hold a pause on it. Not in 2024, but definitely 2025 for sure. Which match has you interest for Full Gear? Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland's got my attention, and I think the 4-way match for the tag titles will be pretty decent. And even though I haven't cared about the feud, I'm pretty sure MJF and JY will be a very good match. Does the men's War Games match expand to 5 on? Does the men's War Games match expand to 5 after Raw's ending this week, and who will become the 5th member for the Good Guys? I think it does. I think it's either Kevin Owens or Randy Orton. That's probably my best guess for that, for sure. Who is MJF's tag partner at Full Gear? Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe will choke out MJF during the match, which will allow the Guns to get the tag titles. There you go. Who finishes the field for both women's and men's Iron Survivor Challenge matches? Good question there. Well, for the ladies right now, we got Lash Legend and Tiffany Stratton. I don't know who else is qualifying. Maybe I'll throw in like JC Jade in there. One way or another, I think Roxanne Perez will get like a last chance type of thing. She'll find a way in there. For the dudes, we got Trick Williams and Dijak qualified. I'm pretty sure Braun Breaker will be in there. Does Carmelo get into the match? Maybe. I would love to see Axiom in the match. I think that'd be pretty cool. Or Tyler Bate. You have a lot of options for the men. As far as the ladies, like I would be remiss without mentioning like Blair Davenport. We'll have to see how that one plays out for sure. By the way, Blair Davenport, good acquisition to the Waterfall Club. That girl is freaking hot. Thank you, Chris, for the questions this week. All right, last set of questions this week comes from the good brother Mike Rubio at Main Event Swerve. He says, "What up, Oos? I'm making a McIntyre-like surprise run-in this week at the last minute for the back porch. Here's some questions for you." Appreciate you, brother. Now that we've had time to process and grieve Matthew Perry's passing, what is your choice for the most underappreciated Chandler moment in Friends? Wow. Damn, that's a tough one. There's so many to choose from, I know there's the scene where he's like awkward, lonely, and desperate for love. I always enjoyed that one. I always say the episode. There's two of them. One with Janice, and then the one with Julia Roberts, where there was some time after Chandler and Janice first broke up, and then Joey brings Chandler onto a blind date, and then it's like this fancy Italian restaurant, right? And then the girl that Joey's dating is like, "Oh, I'm gonna put my coats away and get us some drinks for Janice, right?" Janice, and then here she comes in the background. Oh my God, Janice! Love that. And then this is the dynamic of him and Julia Roberts. I thought was really cool for that episode where she's getting revenge on him and make for him embarrassing her while they were in school. I like that one. There's other ones too. I remember. You guys remember the episode where they had the sex tape of Ross and Rachel, which ended up leading to the pregnancy. Well, there's a part where Chandler and Monica were coming back from the vacation that they had for their honeymoon, and she's like, "You ask a lot of questions," and they're going back and forth about the bad traits that they have. Another underappreciated one is always the part where like him and Ross had that one episode thread where he hijacks like the alumni section of the school they went to, and like Ross faked his death by dying by being hit by a blimp. I thought that was a good one too. So there's a whole bunch of ones, man. Matthew Perry was a legend, and he's gonna be definitely missed for sure. Okay, let's get to the next question. What TV or movie star's passing has been the hardest to process in your lifetime? Oh man, that's tough. I was really bummed out by the Robin Williams one. I loved his work for so many years. That one really hit me. Same thing with Heath Ledger when he passed away after the Joker movie. So young, and the guy was about to get to the biggest part of his career at that point. It's just really, really freaking sad. You know, I mean, try to remember any other specific like TV ones for TV shows. Let's see. Not really ones that are coming off the top of my head right now, guys. I'm sorry, I'm kind of blanking out here, but those are the two off the top of my head for sure that had an effect on me. You said that you turned 32. So what is the show that stands out to you as the one to put in a time capsule for your generation? Definitely How I Met Your Mother. Either How I Met Your Mother or that's that 70s show for sure. Those are the two main ones for me for sure. Shifting gears, I am not just being a homer here. In fact, I think the talk is oversold, but is there any chance that Houston Texans quarterback CJ Stroud is the MVP in the MVP conversation? Not sure they'll be in the conversation, but again, we have 7 weeks left. I wouldn't put any stock into being a legitimate winner. We'll have to see how it goes, but definitely for sure he'll be Rookie of the Year. Can he be potentially the Offensive Player of the Year? Maybe. We'll have to see. But for sure, CJ Stroud will be definitely Offensive Player of the Year and do some good stuff. But I don't know if legitimately I can even think about him as the MVP. We'll have to see how the rest of the season plays out. Also, what about the Pastronaut Josh Dobbs for the Minnesota Vikings? Could he be the ultimate backup comeback MVP story? I'm going to give that a hashtag no shot. It is a great story. I'm not here to knock Josh Dobbs or whatever, but for me, I'm just not buying it. The Vikings sooner or later will falter, and I know Justin Jefferson is coming back soon, but it's kind of a fluke with the wins they've been getting recently. So I'm not buying what the Vikings are selling despite Josh Dobbs' story, which is pretty cool. But that's a hashtag no shot. Continuing with quarterbacks, is Justin Fields about to lose QB1 status to Tyson Bagent? He is proving more than a game manager in the few games I have seen. That also is a no shot. Just knowing how Matt Eberflus carries himself, he's pretty disciplined to his depth chart and stays consistent to that. So I'm going to say no. Yes, Tyson has looked good, but I don't think Justin's in any position where he's going to be benched. As I always said, but context, it was a stupid decision for the Bears to bench Mitch for Nick Foles at the time they brought in, because they just thought, oh, Nick Foles is going to come in and do what he did in Philadelphia because they have a history with each other. And it's funny because Mitch was playing good for the first 2 weeks before that game. He's a bench against the Falcons. And how ironic, while Nick Foles was playing like pure trash and garbage, they go back to Mitch and they still find a way to scramble into the playoffs that year. But no, I don't see that Tyson Bagent is in any position where he's going to supersede or Justin's going to be benched. There's 7 games left. What are you going to get out of benching the guy if you're going to get rid of him at the end of the season anyway? So we'll have to see how that one plays out. Let's see. Who's your wild card upset special for the NFL playoffs, such as the team that will get in and win the first wild card game? That's a very good question. You know what? I could totally see the Seahawks go into Detroit and beat the Lions on the road. There's your pick right there. Rubber stamp it here. The Seahawks beat the Lion in Detroit in the playoffs. You heard it here first. All right, let's go to the next one. When and how do you see Randy Orton making a return at Survivor Series? Either the SmackDown beforehand where we have a pure six brawl, Mamma Mia, all hell is breaking loose, and then you hear the song, Randy Orton comes back. Yeah, I think it's happening. Randy's always said All-State Arena has been one of his favorite places to perform at. It's the right place for him to make his comeback, and I'm excited because a lot of people have been saying WWE's been on a hot streak with their programming. Randy Orton coming back with all these new variables and stuff like that. We're going to be doing some good business there, if you know what I mean. How's the gabagool? What are your thoughts on WWE Backlash happening in France? Could we see WrestleMania abroad in a couple years? I believe so. I think WrestleMania will go abroad in a couple years. Now, where? I have no idea. But, London for sure is a possibility. We'll have to see how that one plays out. But as far as Backlash being in France, I like France. I think that's pretty cool that they're having the PLE there. By the way, I love that show Emily in Paris on Netflix. That show is awesome. Shout out to Lily Collins. But yeah, having the show in France, I think that's pretty cool actually. So next one. Also, do you see an NFL team moving to Europe full time? Yes, I think the Jaguars will be moving to London soon. Who is your NXT breakout male star of the year? I'm going to give that male star. That's a good question. I'm going to give it to Trick Williams for sure. How much, if any, do you want to see CM Punk be? How much, if any, do you want to see CM Punk partake in Survivor Series? Look, man, I don't care. I don't know why this has been like a contentious debate about whether it's the right time for Punk to show up at Survivor Series or at the Royal Rumble. If he shows up back in the WWE, awesome. Obviously, I'm a Punk guy. Punk's my favorite wrestler besides the Dead Man. Whenever he shows up, I'm just going to appreciate that moment when it happens. But for everybody that does shows like this, and you know who it is, they're like, oh, it's sacrilegious for CM Punk to come back to Chicago. Why? It's only okay for him to show up at the United Center for AEW shows, but it's a bad idea if he comes back at the Rosemont Horizon for a WWE show and a big pay-per-view like that. What's the problem with that? So whether Punk shows up at Survivor Series or in Tampa Bay for the Royal Rumble, let's enjoy the moment. But to say, oh, it's dumb to bring CM Punk back just because it's in Chicago, that's bullshit. Have you heard of pods that Punk has had inside that building? It's freaking double from what we heard at the United Center shows. I was there at Money in the Bank. You want to talk about big pops? CM Punk showing up at the Rosemont Horizon at Survivor Series. Think about that, man. I don't have a preference anyway. If he does show up, awesome. If he doesn't, I'm not going to be disappointed. But we'll have to see. I just think it's kind of silly to have these debates about, oh, it's sacrilege. It's ridiculous for Punk to show up at Survivor Series in Chicago. How about we just appreciate the moment that Punk is actually back in the WWE? How about that? All right, last question for the show this week. Is there any TV show or actor or moment you look forward to the most now that the actors and writer strikes have ended? Well, anything that's involving Margot Robbie, you got me signed up. And that is definitely for waterfall purposes. Again, I really don't watch any modern day TV because I'm not really a fan of it. I watch most of my stuff on Netflix and stuff from the past that I maybe missed over. But again, the stuff that I watch on TV, I watch my sports with my shitty Chicago sports teams. I watch How I Met Your Mother, obviously. I watch Love Island, actually. Just admit that on air. I'm a big fan of that show. I think it's very fun and entertaining. I enjoyed it so far, and I've been checking out the different seasons stuff. I just finished season 4. I started with season 5 because that was the most recent one, but I went back to watch season 4 on Peacock, which is very good. And now they got the Love Island games. I really enjoyed it. I think it's very good. So Love Island for sure is a fun one to watch. But as far as actors and stuff, give me any Margot Robbie stuff and then we're good. I mean, sprinkle in a little bit of Colby Smulders as well. But thank you, Mike and Chris, for the questions this week. As always, I appreciate you, good brothers, for hanging out with me tonight. I want to thank each and every single one of you for supporting this podcast and this giving us the support and feedback that we need. And if you missed it earlier in the show, this very important thing that I want to share with you guys. And I'm not alone in feeling this fact. If you're coming out of a healing situation or you got your heart broken, if you're coming out of it in the positive light, I think this video will resonate with you. I want to play one more time before we head out of here.
Was your canvas, and you were the painter, and together we made art. I loved the way you looked at me with such hope, like I had potential to be something great. But I did not know that you were an expressionist. You saw my pureness as an opportune moment to let loose your demons. I became a place where you spilled your blood reds and your blues from your past lovers. When we first met, I said I would love all of you shades. I've never seen you when you were bright. You only came to me when you needed healing. And when you come, I would use my bed as an easel. You perform all shades of grey. My room was a gallery where you displayed your pain. It was that day when I came to your place and I saw paint on the floor that you have never used on me before. I knew it was not your only canvas. Now I am in the shower. Now I am in the shower, trying to wash you away, scrubbing your magentas beneath my feet. Your maroons are stuck between my nails. My new lover won't understand why I am this blue.
All right. Remember, folks, you can follow me on Twitter if you like at the Hoots Podcast. I'm on Instagram at Joshie Lopez Media. All other information for supporting the podcast is in the description of this podcast. Don't forget, you can check out the description by C for timestamps if you want to just go to directly to different segments. It's a nice feature here that I give to you guys not only on YouTube but also on Spotify. Speaking of Spotify, please follow the show there. It helps expand the reach show. We do appreciate it. So if you are a Spotify listener and you check out the Hoots Podcast every week, make sure to follow us there. Like this video and subscribe to our channel on YouTube as we're on the road to 500 subscribers. And by the way, for those who are wondering, we're currently at 855,000 downloads and plays on Spotify for podcasters, formerly known as Anchor. And we're getting very, very close to reaching that 1 million mark. And again, the love and appreciation that I get for you guys really means a lot to me as we continue on this road to episode 400. So remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I love you guys. Have a wonderful week. Hope you guys enjoy Full Gear. I'll be here next week to recap it. I know Thanksgiving will be here next Thursday, obviously. So I want to say happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you here in America who choose to celebrate it. There will be a podcast next week. When it drops, we'll see. But I will have a podcast recorded for you guys next week. And for those who do send questions like Chris and Mike, just make sure to send it to me before Thanksgiving, and I'll make sure to add it to the show for next week. But don't fret. The road to episode 400 is continuing. And now the countdown goes from 13 to 12. We have a dozen more episodes of the Hoots Podcast before we hit episode 400. So I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. And then next week, I'll recap the show for Full Gear and make my predictions for Survivor Series right here on the Hoots Podcast. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and Thanksgiving. Talk to y'all later. Peace.